We're back for another episode of Talent on Tap, and this time we're in our hometown of Glasgow. Today we're off to Certain Advantage in Glasgow city centre to meet the one and only Jackie MacGregor. Jackie has been on our sites for many years to work with when she worked at previous companies and used one of our competitors. But for the last 2 years, she's been using Odro Capture and Odro Vision to help with the human interaction experience when reaching out to candidates and clients. In this episode, Jackie talks about using AI to improve efficiencies, but the importance of actually meeting candidates and clients face to face. And most importantly, she talks about her experience in Strictly Come Dancing and bringing home that glitter ball. So Jackie, welcome to Talent on Tap.
Thank you
so much for joining us today. And in Glasgow, your home turf.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming in to see us in our offices. It's a pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you. So as I kind of mentioned, this is a very informal chat, just getting to know you guys, getting to know our customers, and just talking a little bit about the Odro partnership and what you guys use. But it'd be really, really good to hear a little bit about you. Obviously, I know you well. I also have to say that as well, Jackie just is our reigning champion in Strictly Come Dancing, so we absolutely need to mention this. So please tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, just won the glitter ball at the weekend. I'm delighted. It was for the Prince and Princess of Wales Hospice in Glasgow. An amazing night, 6 contestants, people that put themselves out there to go and learn to dance for a couple of months, get the sequins on, get the fake hands on and perform on Saturday night. So it was a big charity night, lots of fundraising.
And you raised so much money as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone did amazing in their own fundraising, and there was 40 plus grand raised on the night as well. So
that's incredible.
And
does that all go directly back to them?
Directly to the charity, yeah, absolutely. So, and they do work palliative care, so it's really important stuff they do. So it directly makes an impact. So it was an emotional night, quite overwhelming, but as much as all that side, I live with a glitter ball.
I know.
So I was buzzing.
And so you've got your very own glitter ball.
I do. Till next year, I need to give it back. Next year.
Give it back. That's right. I would hate that part.
Yeah, that's the bit. I'm already dreading that part. Yeah.
I would be very emotional.
It was emotional on the night. It's going to be even more emotional when I have to say, there you go.
And you were telling me earlier you are going to dress it up at different points of the year.
Yeah, so I think we'll get some Easter bunny ears on it. We'll dress up in Santa hat. Any excuse to get some footage out of that glitter ball while I've got it.
Are you going to take it to client visits?
Absolutely, yeah. I will use it to the nth degree.
Absolutely.
100%.
It'll win you your next client.
Fingers crossed.
But yeah, no, well, congratulations once again. But so yeah, tell us about Certain Advantage. Obviously, it sounds like there are big things going on just now.
Yeah.
So give us a wee bit of a background.
So Certain Advantage have been in Scotland now since May 2024. Losing track in the years. And it was a new brand into the Scottish market. So for me, I've been in recruitment for over 20 years. And what was exciting about it was at that point, and still now, recruitment is changing. Your candidates are changing, your clients are changing, expectations are changing. And at that point, I saw an opportunity to take something to our market that offered something more. I still feel that a lot of clients and candidates don't get what they should from a recruitment process. So we saw the opportunity to take this to market, very much professional services led. So we look at accountancy and finance, HR, business and office services. We also cover marketing, legal support. So in that professional services space. So as I say, we started what will be 2 years ago. And we had a really exciting 2025. It's not been without its challenges. It's a new brand to the market. But December 2025, we looked at what we'd done well, who we were, what we wanted to be known as, what made us stand out against our competitors. And off the back of a lot of work that was done in December 2025, we've taken a step back, looked at what's going on in the UK group wider. And in May this year, we will be launching as a new brand. Some exciting things coming our way, which is all about who we are, our identity, and how we see ourselves making a difference in the market. So there's lots coming on, and that will also include Manchester and London. So watch this space.
Yeah, good. Well, it sounds very exciting.
Yeah.
And you've put a bit of a Scotland twist on it. You've put your kind of identity, what you guys have done. I think the thing that kind of stood out for me, obviously when you came to Certain Advantage, I think you were probably one of the first, you did that night, where you invited myself and Amanda, there was Hazel, there was Kerry, there was all the different people from, the Scotland network. But it was, and you've done that every year since, where you bring clients, vendors, candidates,
other recruiters,
everybody together.
Yeah.
And that was probably look, I'm sure it's happened before in Scotland, right? But it was definitely something that I think was new, was fresh. It was something lovely that, you see in London, you see in Manchester, you see in Leeds all the time.
Yeah.
You don't maybe see it as much in Scotland. So like, how did that come about? What was it that kind of made you want to do something there?
I think a big part of when we started this, so 2024, we're still coming off the back of COVID, and working practices had changed. People had changed, and so much was being done on Teams, not even on the phone. I'm old school. I used to do everything on the phone. So much was being done on Teams, and we were losing that human connection. And fundamentally, what we do as recruiters, our product is human beings, our clients are humans, our candidates are humans. And whilst the work practices were changing, what we wanted to do is be really approachable and authentic and have a personality and be involved in our clients' businesses and understand their culture and their strategy, but also with our candidates, what makes them tick. And you can only do that if you're interacting with them. So it was really important for us to have a night where we said, come and see us. This is who we are. This is what we want to be. And any event we're doing, we're trying to make sure that remains consistent because that's part of what our brand has become. It's who we are.
Yeah. And you kind of said as well, like from working like UK wide, what you've noticed within your Scotland team and the division you're building right now is that you guys actually do a lot of that face-to-face and going and meeting candidates and jumping for a coffee. Like, somebody said to you, do you want to jump on Teams? And you're like, well, no, I'm next door. Like, I'll just hop over. So again, what does that do for you guys, whether it's winning clients, or placing candidates? Do you find that helps?
It helps massively. But there's two sides to it. From a candidate point of view, we've all had the situation where you send a candidate for a job, and if that candidate doesn't understand what the environment's like, what they're going into, we've had candidates come out of interview and go, that was the most bizarre office. Or if you've not been on site for that candidate to go, this is what you're going into, this is what the culture's like. They don't it's visualizing that thing. We have to understand what that's right. So for me, we need to be on site. But from a client point of view, we are becoming very automated in our interactions. So clients will send you a job spec or give you a portal and say, there's the job, go and find me 3 people for it. That's not the sort of delivery where you're finding excellence. You find excellence when you're out in a room with someone and you understand their people, their vibes, their values, what they love, what they're not good at. If we can unpick all of that and really get the good, the bad and the ugly, the job spec's one part of it. That's the other part of it that helps us find the best person for the job, not just the person that's available right now. And I think that's where the gap is in a lot of recruitment at the moment.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because actually, we've been hiring as well, and we've done it with recruiters, and we've also done it ourselves. And I think we've seen like some really natural, great processes in place where people have come in, they've got to know. And I think it's one thing coming in and asking me about Odro culture. That's one side, coming in and speaking to the people and coming in and meeting them and actually seeing how they interact on a day-to-day, and as you say, seeing what's good about that, but also seeing, the gaps, seeing the challenges. And, one of the biggest things for me, I always say, is don't, I say to a candidate, like, I don't want you to fit in the culture. I actually want you to like add something to the culture, like, and bring something. So what is that? And I think you can only really, like, as a recruiter, know that if you know that ins and out of the business. Yeah. So is that something that like you KPI? Is it something that's just ingrained that when you work in your, certain advantage?
It's probably ingrained. It's something we keep an eye on, but it's probably just ingrained. But you're right, the placements we make, we want to be speaking to the client, and a year down the line, they're going, the person you placed in our finance team, yes, they've helped us with whatever KPIs, but actually they've added value. They've done this with the team. They've driven us in this direction. They've taken on that project. It's how that person adds value. And I think you can only do that when you really understand your client.
Yeah.
The other side, one of the biggest challenges we're seeing is you can spend lots of time with an HR team or a TA team or a hiring manager to talk about the role, and you find a fantastic candidate. But if that candidate then goes to interview process and the client themselves, if you're not involved in what that interview looks like and adding value and understanding where they're interviewing, what their questions are, all the stuff you naturally do when you're in a room with someone, the stuff you talk about, there's so much risk where a good candidate could disappear because of a bad experience. Yeah. And it's not that it's a bad experience. Maybe you're having to educate your clients a lot more because we're in a different market now.
And like sometimes I think as well, like you're busy, the client's busy. Like I know for me, for example, like I'm speaking to recruiters every day and they're talking to me about probably clients that they don't like that is me. Yeah. Where they're maybe saying like, oh, and they didn't come back to me. And it's not that people, I don't think these people are ever trying to be, if they're ever trying to like pull the wool over someone's eye, there might be sometimes, but like actually I think it's just people are super busy, and as you say, see if I'm being controlled in that process, like I literally will just follow suit. Do you know what I mean? Because it makes my life easier.
It's about making your clients and your candidates' lives easier. And recruitment's it's an investment. If you're going to use a recruitment agency, it is an investment, and you need to know that you're getting everything for the last penny that you're spending. And I think you're right. If we can make the clients' lives easier and keep the process as tight as it can be for both client and candidate, you're more likely to have a successful outcome. And that's the stuff that we're driving and really making sure we're pushing behind. And listen, you don't always get it right.
No,
but if the client has the best experience, and if we don't fill the job, but the client still feels treated well, and same with the candidate, they come back to you. So reputation's everything just now in the market.
And obviously it sounds like you're pushing that whole like human interaction, people first, really speaking to people, getting to know them, candidates and clients. And I think we hear like noise about that, like LinkedIn is so busy right now. It is overwhelming for a lot of people. But what I think the biggest thing is that you hear on LinkedIn is like AI automation, whether it's worked or whether it's failed. There's people that are simply saying like, absolutely, they live and die by it. But there's other people who are like, I've tried it, it's not worked. I'm going back to like, what, worked 10, 15 years ago. So is there a balance, do you think? Or are you doing a little bit of both? Or what does that actually look like for you?
I think there's a balance, and I think we're all learning. So I think LinkedIn actually can be very negative about the automation and the AI and the technology that we're using. We have to look at processes, and to be a successful recruiter, how do you look at your processes and how can you implement tech to help you be better at that? But it has to be about the human element. And I think as we develop as humans in an AI world, in an automated world, we know when we're being automated. If your bank is sending you messages and it's an automated message. So people are getting more savvy to that. So how can we implement and use tech that allows us to still have a real personal touch and a human connection and be empathetic with our clients and candidates? Because that's the bit that we sell on. That's what makes us different to just using a scraping tool to find a CV for a job. So it's getting the balance, and not being scared of it and learning from your mistakes. But the other side of it is I think it can be really overwhelming. There's so many products out there that offer you everything and anything. And I don't believe there's a single recruiter out there that's using one bit of tech that does everything. You have to make it work for you, and you have to implement it properly and hold yourself and your teams accountable to see what what is the ROI? How are you getting there? How can you be better at it? So you're constantly working on that.
I think you're so right. I think look, it's so overwhelming even as a tech vendor, right? I log on to LinkedIn every day and I'm like, oh my good God, there's another competitor. And they've literally just jumped out of they've been around for 2 days and they've just created this new, whatever tool it is that they're using. So for me, I'm constantly having to learn, right? How can I sell against that? What do they do? What do I need to know so that I can, position our products to be the best? So never mind me, I then think about the recruiters and I think about the agency owners, the business leaders that are, looking at these every single day and are getting all these messages about, pick me, pick me, pick me. It must be, really, really overwhelming. It must be really, really soul destroying, when you are going into a process. But one of the things that I think that actually the recruitment industry has done really well is, it's that LinkedIn, as you mentioned, can be negative, right? And you can see things, you'll actually see more and more that people are posting about tools that maybe haven't worked or about, agreements that potentially they've got into and they've not been let out and things like that, or whatever it may be. And I think what that does is, I don't really agree with that. I don't like LinkedIn being that negative place. I think we should get away from that again and be thinking about actually all the great things that people are doing. But what I do think that what we're doing really well in the recruitment industry is if you follow Hishem or you follow Sean Anderson or TRN, for example, or all these great communities, all these great communities that have people that are using tools and actually talking very openly about the experience, the good, the bad and the ugly. Because look, I'll be really honest, in Odro, we don't do everything right. Absolutely not.
Nobody does.
Nobody does. But I think when you go on LinkedIn, it's like, we're the best at this and we're the best at that. So how do you navigate that when you are looking into new tools or even at renewal stage?
I think it's learned experience, because we have been in situations where I've been sold a dream and I've gone, great, let's do it. And then you run that for however long. And then you look at the bottom line and X amount has been spent. And what difference has it actually made? But I think what you'll find with certain tools is a consultant will use it really well in this area and someone else will use it really well. that it's hard to duplicate a team of doing exactly the same thing and everyone using it in exactly the same way
over again.
Because there's consistency, but also it still comes down to human interaction.
Yeah.
So you're trying to pick the right tools where people are able to, the consultants are invested in it and the consultants are excited about it. That's the tools you have to use. We spoke about ROI. ROI isn't always about the bottom line. It's about the tools that the consultants feel allow them to go out and do the best job they can in that given day.
Yeah.
And if you take that away from them, they would freak out.
Yeah.
That's part of what you have to look at for your ROI. But I think there's also a stage before that, as we are all learning tech. If you look at all the negative stuff on LinkedIn, there are clients out there that will go, I don't need a recruiter because I can use this tool that will scrape this and give me CVs, and our AI tool will do this. And you get AI talking to AI. And it never works.
No.
So how can you pick the technology that allows you to speak to people at the parts that are most important, but be efficient with it and look at your process?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is like, how can you like speed up the admin stuff? How can you speed up the stuff that nobody wants to do, like recruitment, sales? Like no recruiter wants
to do admin.
Yeah, like I look at the HubSpot and I'm constantly banging on, being like, everybody needs to be putting things in the CRM system, and I don't do it myself.
Well, we're sitting talking about we still write things down in notepads and stuff like that. There's bad habits.
Exactly. But I think there has to be that give and take, a little bit of both. And obviously, right, so you're an Odro customer.
Yes.
So I have probably banged on your door for many years when you were in previous companies and things like that. You used to use one of our competitors, which we'll not talk about, we'll not even mention their names. But obviously, now that you've moved over, you're working with Odro now. Like, what's that experience been like for you?
When we moved over, the video technology and the ability to reach out and have a personality was so important.
Yeah.
Because when we started this with Certain Advantage, whilst people knew who we were as consultants, they didn't know who Certain Advantage was. So why pick us? And that's really hard to get across if you don't have some kind of face and voice. So video technology was a no-brainer for me. Where I'd used it previously, we'd used it, but probably again, lessons learned. I don't think we'd rolled it out properly. I don't think we held consultants or management above accountable for the delivery on it. And we didn't really look at ROI. So when I came into this, I knew what I wanted to do with it. And I knew the mistakes we'd made. So what it made it really easy to do was go, this is what we want to use. But here's a list of all the different ways we can use it. And with Odro, the team were really good at going, have you tried this? What about that? The onboarding again was great. I think the fact that, you are down the road helps massively. We bump into you guys in the street, we see you out and about, that helps. But there's a real, for me, I felt with Odro, there was a real passion to see us succeed, a Certain Advantage. Straight away, you understood the journey we were on, you wanted to help. And with that onboarding, it wasn't a standard, here you go, off you pop. It was a, what do you want to achieve? How can we help you do this? Have you thought about that? Could you twist it to this? And that just helped us create all the ways we can use Odro, and especially that capture side of it for us.
Yeah.
For us to have our voice, be approachable, be authentic. And we kind of had that right from the start. So we've been in partnership since this started.
And I think you've kind of nailed that. What you guys did was you owned it though.
Yeah.
That was what the important thing is. And I think sometimes, like tech can get branded with like bad names if things don't work. And look, I'll be the first to always say like, that's all vendors have to take accountability, especially for rollout, managing that, controlling that process from start to finish. But there does have to be that partnership, right? It takes two, right?
Yeah.
And you've got to have accountability on both sides. And I think what you did really well, Jackie, was you had tried and tested it. You knew what worked, you knew what didn't work, but then you were actually open to actually trying new things. And I think that, that really resonates. And then what that does is then you get results, you know. And I think for you, like, obviously with Certain Advantage, it is all about you guys as people.
Yeah.
And video is such a good way of doing that, Video for me is still how I reach out to clients, to agency owners, directors, operations managers. I still use it as a way to actually just be like, hey, it's me, can we speak? And do you find that that's still, like right now within like, AI and automation, everybody for outreach goes straight to like ChatGPT or using automated sequences? Like, do you find the video helps you kind of break through that noise?
Absolutely, it does. I think you can see, ChatGPT will be going in everybody's Christmas night out this year because it's a team member and everybody's using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But you can see that and you start to understand the cadence and the rhythms and it becomes quite obvious. For us, video is now as easy as leaving a voice note, leaving a voicemail, sending an email. It's habitual.
Yeah.
Absolutely in our habits. And it's so natural. And I think that's one of the things, people can be quite scared of video, and you still hear it. People are going, on, I don't want to do video. It wasn't an option, but you have to do it. And actually, once you get comfortable doing it, I personally believe if a client or candidate looks at you on video, that is a point of difference. They are staring in your eyeballs, and they will make a decision on that video where they want to come back to you or not.
Yeah.
And most people do come back to us, and they tell us, whatever the video might be about, they tell us, they remember us, that we stood out. That's, it is your BD, it's your brand, it's your PR. So yeah, we would be lost without it right now. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think you're right. Like, see that confidence piece, right? Knowing what to say. Like, part of it, the one of the reasons why I think in Odro, people always probably wonder why, we have capture, we have vision. That's what we were known for. That's what we broke into the market for. But now we've got CV, we've got Vantage, we've got different products. And the reason for that was actually just what you said. The hardest part with video is not actually getting results. That's easy. If you're consistent, you do the right things, you will get results. And the people who are doing that are getting that. But actually rolling that out to a massive business and things like that you're dealing with people who are nervous about confidence issues, who don't like that their hair's greasy, or that they've got no makeup on, or they don't like their accent. Like, my accent's horrific on video, so it comes across, subtitles don't even work on it, right? So it doesn't translate, whereas but actually it works because it's human. People love, they jump into that, they buy into that. And I think the biggest thing there is that it is if you do it right and you do the basics, you actually get the results that you need to do.
And it's training the basics from the offset, that how you personalize it, how you come across what you say, how you keep it to the right length, how you get the right wording in as quickly as you possibly can. Again, that just becomes, it's muscle memory. Once you start doing it, it does become a lot easier. But you're right. There's days when if you're working from home, I'm like, right, I need to get the hoop earrings in the red lip because I'm doing Odros this morning. But that's part of who we are, and that's part of the fun. And there's days when we are sitting in our hoodies and we're like, listen, we've popped on a quick Odro. It captures your personality and it makes you stand out.
And I think people love that because they're probably sitting in their hoodie too, or with their camera off, and then they switch it on whenever they realize that you're a normal person and doing the exact same thing.
And best believe we don't get it right every time. There's times in here where we're rolling about the floor laughing because you're on your 8th attempt and you cannot get it right. You're saying all the wrong stuff. Our bloopers will be mental, but that's part of the fun.
I know. Absolutely. I feel the exact same. In our office, like, I still am sitting on video and I'm like, and I'm like, how did I get this so wrong? But then and then when I'm on a demo, I still mess up, still say the wrong things. But again, I just laugh because that's what you're going to do whenever you have it yourself in your own hands. So you kind of got to show the warts and all almost. But great. Well, look, and is there anything else in terms of the partnership, anything like that you want to say?
I think for me, there is a lot of noise around tech out there. I think my guidance to anybody is go and do the research, speak to people, speak to other users, work out what you need for your business, because you can't use automation for everything. Work out what you want to get. And for us, it was about personality, differentiator, and being seen and being heard. So Odro was as I say, no-brainer. That made sense. So I think go and understand what you want to get out of your tech and then work it back.
Yeah.
And then you'll find the right provider. But for us, it's been a great partnership. Long may it continue.
Good. And lastly, I just want to ask, because obviously you're massive on LinkedIn, right? You love posting. You guys are always posting. I feel like I always see, you guys post, whether it's out in Glasgow, meeting candidates or clients, or just talking about actually like different problems and things like that. Why do you guys do that?
I think I've been doing this for a long time. And when I started in recruitment, you would get a yellow pages and a phone, and you just had to go and phone people. Your clients and your candidates are now it's your network. You don't look at them separately, and they don't know when they're going to need you. And when they decide they need you, you have to have already had some kind of presence. And LinkedIn and other social, social selling, as everyone talks about, that's how people will find you. When they go, who was that recruiter? Who's that person that I've seen talking about what's going on in the, accounting, finance market, legal, whatever it is. You need to have that awareness of what's going on in your market. It makes you sound credible, but you need to be visible. And I actually think gone are the days when you can just pick up the phone and speak to someone and they will speak to you. You have to be in people's peripheral.
Totally.
so that when they need you, you're the person that they think of. And you know, LinkedIn, good or bad, and it's very different to even what it was a year ago.
Yeah.
But that's what a lot of people will tend to go back to. I think it's how you use it in the right way. But that's your brand, your PR, and that now is part of your sales strategy. It
Totally.
just is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think if you're not, you're really missing a trick.
Yeah.
I also think that one of the things that I find that a lot of people struggle when they are about to post on LinkedIn is that they almost don't, they're like, oh, people post too much stuff personal. People post too much stuff that is about work. Like, I just think you've got to, like, you know, be yourself. Like, and actually, like, if I didn't post personal, like, you know, or things like that, honestly, I wouldn't know what to say. Do you know, I kind of almost have to say what's going on in the day to day, like, you know, to almost just be me.
We do post a lot of personal stuff, and you want to post stuff without giving too much away. And everyone's like, you don't want LinkedIn to be Facebook.
No.
But actually, that's who we are as people, and that's what
social
we're
media.
about. Absolutely. We were having a laugh about some of the stuff we've done previously when you came in, the Strictly stuff. People want to know what's going on. And see if people look at you on LinkedIn and go, that's not for me and she's not my cup of tea, then I'm probably not the right recruiter to find the right person. Because it isn't just about finding the right person, it's about partnership. We're saying it's about partnership. So this is who we are.
Yeah.
And
like it or lump it.
Like it or lump it. Hopefully you like it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they'll like the glitter ball. But great, that's all brilliant. Thank you so much.